the week here, it's not been a great week for stocks. S&P down 1.3%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 1.8% on the week. NASDAQ off 1% on the week. Not a great week for crypto either, we should say. Bitcoin looks like trading here at 45,712. That's off about 1% on the day, about 9% on the week. Still up fractionally on the month, about 0.15%. Year to date, up 57%. And for the year, up 340%. Obviously, considerable gains if you got in at the beginning of the year. Same story, actually, when we look at Ethereum, off on the day, about 3%, trading right now at 3,320. Week to date, not a good week, off 15%. 1 month, Ethereum up 5%. Year to date, up 350%. 1 year, 12-month trailing, up 805%. These are all indicators of just how volatile these markets are. I can hear Raoul laughing in the background at those statistics. Raoul, welcome back. It's a pleasure to be here with you again.
Always good to be back. Friday with Ash. It's always fun.
So, Raoul, what do you make of that?
Well, I was just laughing at how with the serious face can you talk about asset prices like the S&P up 42%, whatever it is, and then suddenly like Ethereum up 800 and whatever percent. I mean, it's unbelievable. But it's looking at those crypto markets, they're volatile as we know. Um, for me, they've all been following pretty much the pattern since that I've been looking at, which is that Ethereum now is following Bitcoin's pattern in 2017. Um, Bitcoin now is following Bitcoin 2013. Solana's following Ethereum in 2017. It's weird. They're all so similar to previous network effect phases. They're
Yeah.
just in different phases. And these kind of corrections are pretty normal. I still think it's all to play for the end of the year. I think we'll see a huge run up in this stuff.
Yeah, it's following the same curve as you suggest. Obviously, this is a thesis that you came out with in the exponential age, mapping out the rate of growth of wallet addresses compared to price. The correlation seems to be holding broadly across the board here.
Yeah, I mean, I was even expecting that we should see Ethereum having this kind of 20% correction. It should be a few days and then should rally again because that's pretty much what Bitcoin did in 2017 after it had its corrective phase, got near the high, kind of failed at the high, and then rocketed higher. So it all rhymes a lot. And, once you put it in that perspective, everyone can just relax.
All right, Rob, before people yell at us, before we get into crypto, let's talk a little bit about what's happening in capital markets. Obviously, a seventh month long rally here going on in US equities, a central bank that keeps threatening to pull away the punch bowl. I know we have a lot to talk about with crypto, but let's scratch the macro itch. What are you thinking when you look at that?
Um, I've been saying the same thing for 2 months, 3 months now on daily briefing is the US economy is slowing. The Fed is going to taper potentially into a slowdown and they will pivot. This is, myself, David Rosenberg, Jim Bianco, I think Darius Dale. There's a whole bunch of us saying the same thing. It would be weird to tighten. I think the rate of growth of balance sheet will go to zero as they kind of slow down, and then they will have to expand the balance sheet. I look at the Citibank Economic Surprises Index, also known as the SESI, and I've been talking about this for a few months now, saying it's going to cross zero. And that means that the economic indicators are coming out, economic data is coming out weaker than forecast. It is now currently at negative 68. So it's firmly negative and should keep going for a while longer. So that tells you that the people are over enthusiastic with the rate of growth of the US economy. And I think we will end up seeing that play out. But step back, as I always encourage people to do. And I'm looking at the chart of 10-year bond yields. They've gone nowhere for 2 months. They came off a lot earlier in the year as they over extrapolated the inflation trend, and bond yields have been trading sideways at around this 133, 134 level for a long time. The
This is on
dollar,
the
the other 10-year
treasury.
treasury is correct. The dollar, the other big macro variable, flat as a pancake over the same period of time. Gold not managing to do much, and the equity market has been grinding higher. But really, it's not been a very macro world out there right now. I think we're at an inflection point. Today, the this week I interviewed, and it's out today, Lakshman from ECRI, Economic Cycles Institute, and I picked his brains about this. Where are we in the business cycle? He sees exactly the same as I do, which is the business cycle is slowing. Doesn't We're not talking about a recession here. What we're talking about is um, that the business cycle comes down, and we'll probably see more stimulus to come in due course. So I think it's all playing out as expected, but economies don't move at the speed of markets.
Right.
Markets want to, price in everything every 30 seconds or every 1 second. Economies move like super tankers, and super tankers take a long time to turn. So we're still in that turning phase. And I think that the final quarter of this year and the first quarter of next year, and maybe even the first half of next year, will be significantly slower than the market expects.
Yeah. If you're talking about business cycles, Lakshman Akichan is the man to have on. And one of the things that I like about this interview is that he starts sort of at the very beginning. He doesn't presuppose that you understand the framework for thinking about business cycles. So it's a great interview for that reason. And as the interview progresses, he gets more into the detail. Talking of which, Raoul, talk a little bit about this series, the Journeyman series that you're working on.
Yeah, what I wanted to do is frame for people the ongoing journeys of discovery that I've got in this macro space, because none of us have a view that stays stable. We have to reassess it. And the way of reassessing it is by talking to the smartest people you know and saying, hey, what do you think? And then absorbing their information too. And I want to act as that conduit for everybody. So if I can go and talk to people, pick their brains, and help develop my framework, then it's going to add value for everybody else, because they can eavesdrop in on those conversations and take from it what they want too. The idea is not that you have to conclude the interviewer's conclusion or the interviewee's conclusion. The idea is, I'll get you the information that you need to make your own conclusions. It's that journey that I think is interesting for everybody. And that's what makes macro so interesting to me. It's this 3D jigsaw puzzle that you're endlessly trying to solve. And you solve it for this briefest period of time, and then it disappears again, and you have to start all over again. The intellectual power that it takes to do that is incredibly rewarding, because it is that endless journey. And that's why it's called the journey, man. It's my journey of discovery, and it is an endless one. And I'm going to take everybody with me.
That's great. And talking of journeys of discoveries and multidimensional jigsaw puzzles, we also have a new show on crypto. Tell us about that.
Yes, I wanted to do the same thing in crypto. I wanted to have these two concurrent journeys. Crypto and macro are the same thing, and people will learn that over time.